back to the Big Red Zone. We are very excited for today's show. Remember, new episodes come out every Thursday. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. You can also find us on Instagram and Twitter and TikTok at Big Red Zone. And please, as always, tell a friend. This week, first week of NFL starts Thursday when the pod comes out. So we'll talk about way too early awards, talk about our fantasy draft tonight. We'll also have the first installment of this year of Picks of the Week, which is always a good time. Socks are starting to get hot. Is it too late? We'll break that down. As always, people's topic. All that and more in this week's episode of the Big Red Zone. Welcome to the podcast. This is the Big Red Zone. I'm your host, Big Red. As always, I'm joined by Danny Football.
How are we doing, Big Red? Second week back. How are we feeling?
Feeling good. Second episode of the last ride. We're feeling pretty good. We actually got to see each other this week for a little fantasy football draft at the old stomping grounds of the camp. It was a good time. See the fellas, see my guy, and it was a good time. Good draft.
Solid draft. Always good to get the Rocks interns back together and see how chaos ensues.
Oh yeah, a lot of controversy this week. This year at the draft. I thought there was a moment there where I thought there was going to be hands thrown by our man Bobby Broadcast. Rob, in our own fantasy football league for the podcast, Rob Marcello. I thought there was going to be a little bit of a brawl going on, but thankfully, calmer heads went out. What's that saying?
Calmer heads prevailed.
Thank you. See, you were always good with this. Last week, you got me with the saying. I have the saying in mind, and then you just help me out finish it. It's a setup job, I just set you up, and then we spike it home together. You know what I mean? Calmer heads prevailed, yes, and we had a nice ending to the draft. So I'm excited. I am, I think, 8 drafts down. I still got a couple more, so we'll have to see how this my last couple go. A lot of my leagues are already drafted, so I'm just we got ours tonight, and then we got one more. I think tomorrow.
There we go. Keeping it busy.
Keeping it busy. I'm just trying to, by the end of it, I'm just going to have every player in the NFL on my team. And then I'm bound to win one of these. You know what I mean? It's like, that's how you do it. It's
Can't not win if you have everyone.
Yeah, it's impossible. How are you doing with all your fantasy football leagues? Are you about done or?
Yeah, the Rocks draft will be my last one, and then everything will be set. And then from there, we just hope and pray for the next 18 weeks.
Yep. Then it's just scratching, clawing.
Clawing, down in the trenches, ready to go.
Looking at the waiver wire, listening each week to the Big Red Zone for your waiver pickups of the week, and hopefully they can figure out one to we can help someone win some money on for fantasy football.
That's what we're here for. Danny
Football sniped my sleeper pick from last week. Picked Adam Thielen late right after me.
Gotta be listening.
Just swooped him from underneath me. I thought I was gonna have him in the next round. He didn't make it one more pick.
Gotta play your cards close to the vest, my man. Nothing.
I know.
This is for all the marbles.
I know. That's it. You know what? All's fair in love and war in fantasy football. That's all I gotta say.
There you go. You nailed that one.
So last week we talked a lot about the preseason. We broke down the Pats preseason. Not much has changed. We talked about the NFL preseason. Not much has changed. I mean, now it's just gearing up. We're starting to hear more important people, that were on not the injured, just the injury report, are starting to come back full and healthy, ready to go for Thursday night. So not much has changed since last week. So we decided this week was a good time to do one of our favorite segments, which is the Way Too Early Awards. That is when we pick each award preseason. We predict who's going to win it for the season. We have had numerous preseason calls from both of us that have ended up hitting the nail on the head. I think the best one I had was I said one of my best preseason award predictions was Aaron Rodgers a couple of years ago after the draft. I said Aaron Rodgers is winning the MVP. And then Danny Football, you sniped one last year. I can't remember if it was NBA or football. I think it was one of the rookie ones. You sniped it, and I can't remember which one it was. I remember you sniped, or maybe you got the MVP last year.
Who was MVP? Did I say Brady?
Won.
No, no, Aaron Rodgers did win it. I don't know.
Maybe I'm thinking NBA. I have to go back to the.
I don't know if it was an award. I think it was an off-season NBA thing, and I said Doc was going to go to the Sixers, and he ended up going to the Sixers.
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
I know I got that right. I could be forgetting an awards thing, but
I think it was an awards one that you got. That was I didn't think it was going to happen, but you sniped it. It was. I can't think of it. I'd have to go back to the archives, but
I'll take it.
Yeah,
I'll take the win.
Take the win there. I'm trying to give you the win. So let's start. This is this year's 2022. What is it? 2022, 2023. Way too early awards preseason edition. Let's start off. We'll save the big awards for last. Let's go to the rookie of the year. So there's 2 awards they give for the offensive rookie of the year and defensive rookie of the year. Who do you think is the defensive rookie of the year?
I'm gonna go with Aiden Hutchinson out of the Lions. I don't know how this kid doesn't win it. Even in the preseason, looks like he's kind of head and shoulders above everyone else. And we were talking about this last week. The NFC North is kind of a coin flip. It's a dark horse division because you don't really know who's going to come out of there. I know Rodgers got extended, but he has no one to throw to, so it's kind of an open division. There is no head and shoulders team, so he could always feast on that division, and then they're out of division games. He could kind of, hit or miss. But I like Aiden Hutchinson. He got drafted high for a reason, and I think just kind of with the current crop of defensive rookies, he should be the best one.
Yeah, I mean, not to start off boring, but I think I think he's going to win it. There's no one else that, looking at the list of defensive rookies at the top of the board, I thought he should have gone 1. He was just an unbelievable player in college, and like you said in the preseason, he's just looked like a pro out there. And I think it's a slam dunk. I think he's gonna.
He's a plus 450 right now. If you have some money you don't want to see again.
I think I always like the long shots, Danny Football. So I don't know if I put money on him, but I think that's a good return on your investment. I think you'll win some money if you put on him.
A long shot. Let's see who's a good long shot.
I don't think there's a chance that Aiden Hutchinson does, unless he gets hurt. I don't think there's a chance he doesn't win it.
I don't know if I like. Sauce Gardner is at plus 1,000. If you want to throw some money down on that.
Yeah, I don't know. The defense. I'm not convinced. Sauce Gardner was the other name that stood out to me, but Aiden Hutchinson I think is going to run away with it. Now, offensive rookie of the year, I think there's a lot of room for debate for this one. So who do you see winning this one?
I'm going with Breece Hall. I wanted to go with Kenny Pickett, but that kind of hinges on if he starts and how many games he starts. So I'm going to go with Breece Hall, running back for the Jets. Again, this is just one where I feel like it's just going to come down to playing time and opportunities. And if he can really grab that starting spot and run with it, I think he has a good shot at offensive rookie of the year.
Yeah, I agree. I like him. The only thing that scares me is what uniform he's wearing. I don't.
That's up to the front 7 to take care of that.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to take care of that. That's my only. I think he's obviously the best running back to come out of the draft. I love George Pickens. I've said it in all my fantasy leagues. I think he's going to be a stud. I think I have him in 2 leagues. So that's not as much as I would have liked, but like you said, a lot's going to hinge on, He's got two guys ahead of him that kind of have already a rapport, but I mean that organization's kind of starting over anyway. You know, the only one that I think is a lock to play most of the snaps is Najee. So a lot of it depends on him, who's throwing him the ball. You know, I see another person on the list is Kenny Pickett, which I don't think he'll play enough to win Rookie of the Year. They announced Mitch Trubisky's going to be the starter, and I assume unless he just stinks from the beginning, I think he's going to play the whole season, if not most of the season. The guy I'm going with is Drake London. Now,
Okay, all right.
I haven't taken him in any leagues, and I've kind of stayed away from him. But his situation is just a great situation. He is there's no one else in that wide receiver room that he's automatically the number one. They're going to be going him right away. Marcus Mariota is a good enough quarterback that will get him the ball. And I mean, I think target wise, I think more people are going to be concerned with Kyle Pitts. So I think, you know, being the number one receiver, I think he's going to get a lot of attention, but I think he's going to get the volume to go towards him. So on my list, I'm looking at my odds thing, he's kind of lower in the odds, which I'm kind of surprised. But I think he has a good shot to win the award, because I mean, we saw what happened in Falcon systems prior with like Julio and all them. I think he has a chance to I think they're going to force him the ball. There's no running back really solid running. Patterson, you know, I get it, but they're going to be chucking the ball. Marcus Mariota chucks the ball, so it's going to be a lot of Pitts and London, I think, if he can stay healthy.
I like that pick. That's a good one.
Dameon Pierce is a dark horse too, because I think there's nothing going on in the Texans, and he had a good camp, so he's going to get a lot of opportunity. But he kind of reminds me of Breece Hall, where I don't trust his team, so that's why I didn't.
All right.
Okay, let's go to what's the next one?
Deep boy.
Yeah, let's do it. Who do you got for defensive player of the year?
I'm gonna go with TJ Watt. I think you were on the bandwagon last year, so I'm gonna hop on now. He's come close a couple times. I think this is finally when he breaks through. The dude is just a whole nother animal. So you got to think he's due at this point.
He won last year, right?
Did he? I thought he got robbed, or was that 2 years ago?
That was 2 years ago.
Oh, there
he
you
won
go.
it last year.
So give me back to back then.
I actually love that, and you know I'm a big TJ Watt guy. Drafted him in my IDP league. He's a cheat code on the defensive side of the ball. But for all intents and purposes, we gotta have some controversy here. So I'm gonna go with a guy that was a rookie last year. He's only gonna get better, and I'm gonna go with Micah Parsons of the Dallas Cowboys. Kid was unstoppable last year. If he can stay healthy, he's going to get a lot of snaps. That defense really improved last year. Second year in the league, usually see a little bit of a jump. I think he has a good shot to make a lot of noise this year, and I'd like to see him win the defensive player of the year, but if it can't be him, I think TJ Watt. I battled between TJ Watt and Micah Parsons, because I think TJ Watt's just a cheat code on defense. He is scary.
Good call.
Micah Parsons. What do we got for coach of the year?
I'm going Josh McDaniels, old friend Josh McDaniels.
Love it.
I think how that Raiders team is constructed, they're expected to go deep. They should go deep. How deep, I don't know, but I think with the pieces around him, and, you know, this is pretty much his last shot at a coaching gig. So I think with a lot on the table, with the pieces he has, I think Josh McDaniels is in a good spot to really, really make a statement this season.
I love that pick. I think they're going to improve. I think he's going to have a lot to do with that. You know, he's got a lot of flashy weapons on offense. Defense, they kind of figure it out. But I think, like we talked about last week, they're probably going to be a dark horse in the playoffs next year. Who's to say, you know, and I think Josh McDaniels gets a lot of credit for that being his first year. I'm going to go with Sean McDermott.
That was going to be my other pick.
Yeah, I just think this is a lot of people are saying it. you said it even. He predicted the Bills would be in the Super Bowl, I think, gut reaction last week. We'll make our actual predictions today, but I think you mentioned, I could be wrong, but I thought you said you thought the Bills were going to be in the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I think Sean, and I get it's just regular season award, so Super Bowl doesn't really matter, but I think Sean McDermott's going to get rewarded for that. I think the Bills are going to have a dominant year, and he's going to have a lot to do with that. So I'm going to just say Sean McDermott for that.
Okay. All right.
And then we got to the before we do that, there was one that we kind of forgot about, the comeback player of the year. So someone that gets hurt and then has a big breakout year. Is there anyone that off the top of your head that you think could win that award?
I'm trying to
I
remember.
know we didn't prepare for it.
I'm trying to remember who had catastrophic injuries last year.
I'll give you a list of like 6 people.
Okay.
That had big injuries. Jameis.
All right.
CMC. Derrick Henry. Saquon. Khalil Mack. Dobbins. Michael Thomas, we'll say.
I'll say Saquon. I think Saquon comes back with a vengeance and locks that up.
Dude, if he can stay healthy, he is ticked off. There's a lot of interviews this preseason that he's talking about, like, I'm going to shut everyone up this year, and I'm going to remind them who I am. I love the Saquon Barkley pick. I think he's going to have I think he could have a good big year if he can stay healthy. His health is just such a question mark. I'm going to go with Christian McCaffrey. If he stays healthy, He's a dominant player. He's working with a better quarterback now, probably the best he's had in his career. I'd arguably say, I think he's better than Sam Darnold, better than Cam, better than Kyle Allen. So best quarterback he's ever worked with in his NFL career. If he can stay healthy, man, he's going to be hard to beat. He's going to have a big year, Pro Bowl, All Pro, all that stuff. So I'm going to go with Christian McCaffrey.
All right, here we go.
MVP. Who do you got for MVP?
MVP, I'm going with my boy Josh Allen. He's leading the fantasy team right now, so got to put all my eggs in that basket and go with Josh Allen, White Lightning.
I'd like that pick. I think Josh Allen's he's gonna do it. Man, I think I gotta go with my guy. There's one I'm battling with. I have 2 people in mind. One I don't even see on the odds list. He must be way down. The other one I'm gonna go with. I think I'm gonna go with Justin Herbert.
I like that pick.
I talked about it last week. I feel like this is the year. I mean, Herbert's has been really good the last couple of years, his first 2 years in the league. I think this is the year he pops and puts it all together. We heard about the 2-year jump. It's all about the 3-year jump, 3-year MVP. Now, I remember there was a couple years in a row where we had the Mahomes, Lamar. Was there someone else that won the MVP their second year? I can't remember. But I think Justin Herbert's going to take a big jump, and I think he could win the MVP. Everything looks like it's going right for him in LA, so I think he's going to have a big year.
All right.
But a dark horse, Derek Carr.
Oh, okay.
Dark horse, Derek Carr. That offense, Josh McDaniels going to be throwing the ball all over the place. Devontae Adams, Jacobs can catch the ball. Waller can catch the ball. Renfro can catch the ball. It's like he's got guys Derek Carr is very underrated in this league, and I think he's going to have a huge year, and everyone's going to look at him like, man, who is this guy? So dark horse, I think Derek Carr, but I think Justin Herbert's just dominant right now.
I like that. Good pick.
So those are our preseason awards. We'll write those in. We'll check midway through the season like we always do. And then, at the end of the season, we'll predict who's going to win. At the end of the season, we'll see how they change throughout the year. With that said, let's get into it. The first segment of this in a year, almost a year, and the first segment of our final season, this is the picks of the week.
Picks of the week.
So for picks of the week, we pick one game each week. We predict who's going to win. Usually, I think last 2 years, I think I've won the football, you've won basketball.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you blow me out in basketball, which is pretty disheartening. Last year I came back. I think I came back at the end to win the football season. But first one of the week 1, Danny Football. Who are we going with?
I'm coming out swinging with week 1, game 1. I'm going Bills over Rams.
I love it.
I think the Bills take that next step. I think they take care of the Super Bowl hangover Rams and start the year strong. Josh Allen gets that MVP candidate season going. So I'm gonna take a tough one right out of the gate.
Well, now you're just
setting the tone right now.
You're setting the tone. I should have gone first. I was gonna go Pats over Dolphins, but
that's not a gimme. So
it's definitely not a gimme, but it's not like the pizzazz pick that you picked there. Bills over Dolphins, riding the MVP, the Super Bowl, predicting who you think is going to be in the Super Bowl. Man, I may have to change up my pick right now.
On the spot. Let's see what we got.
On the spot. I'm going with. I don't think I could do this without. It's gonna be it's our last ride, Danny Football. We're all about symbolisms. This is our last ride. It's this person's last ride. It's not a coincidence we're going out with the GOAT, because we are the GOAT of podcasts in the Boston area. Wow. I'm going with the Bucks over the Cowboys. Tom Brady wins game 1, sits out of preseason. Who needs it? Cowboys are no slouch going against my pick for defensive player of the year, Micah Parsons. I think they're going to beat the Cowboys week 1 on the road, Sunday Night Football. And that's going to set the tone for the rest of the season for them, that they're here to win a Super Bowl. They're Tom Brady's last year.
I like that pick. I like that. All right.
Man, you just talked. I was going Pats, and then quick.
Well, usually you usually get on a Pats heater, so I didn't want to take away from the Pats season there.
Last year I did ride the Pats heater 10 games. I think they won, what was it, 8 games in a row or 10? I think it was like 8 games in a row they won. And I rode that heater all the way through. That's what helped me get back in the season. Real quick before we move on to the Sox, let's lock in our official predictions for Super Bowl. What's the Super Bowl this year?
I'm gonna say Bills over Bucks.
I'm gonna lock in with Bucks over the Chiefs.
All right, there we go.
Round 2, Brady goes out on top. Ironic, we both chose the team that we think will win the Super Bowl.
There we go. Well, you gotta get off to a good start.
We're predicting the week 1 win pick of the week and the final week pick of the week. Each, we got to win the first game and the last game of the season. You know what I mean?
Has to happen.
So moving on to Sox news, we talked about last week. I think Danny Football said it. There's still a chance, but they are really out of time. It was something, I think you said something like that. They are officially almost out of time. And this week they were 5-2. They sweep the Rangers, which was kind of a shock. Made some call-ups and send-downs. As it stands this week, I mean, even after being 5-2, they are. What are they? They're still in last place. They're 13.5 out of first. They are
67 and 68.
67, 68. 1 game under 500. They're what? 5 games out of.
They're 7.5 out of the wild card.
7.5 out of a wild card. Does your feeling of this team change at all from last week?
No, because the hole is still so deep. If they can cut the wild card down to maybe 2 or 3 games, that's a whole nother conversation. But 7.5, and you still have a pretty hard slate coming up. It's going to take more than this.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. There's only so much you can do. I mean, over the last few games, we've kind of seen what this roster was supposed to be, which was high-powered offense. And really, we haven't seen it. I again say a lot of it has to do with injuries. I mean, look what Trevor Story's doing, especially yesterday on Sunday. Huge bat in the lineup, huge defensive play, maybe the best defensive second baseman in the league. You miss him for a month and a half, 2 months, there's your season. And then obviously, Raffy was out for a little bit. Xander was out for like a week. Kike was out for a long time. So a lot of it has to do with injuries. A lot of it has to do with, again, Heim not filling the holes that we needed, not re-signing guys, like we've said over and over again. But the main problem is this bullpen. I mean, right now we're in a close game 1-1 against the Rays, which, I mean, going down the stretch, they're all must wins from here. I think it's like you got to win I shouldn't say every game, but every series has to be a must win. Like you have to win every series from here on out to even have a small chance to clinch the last wild card spot.
Yeah, they haven't made it easy for themselves. Again, I feel like the kind of story of the season has been digging holes and trying to dig themselves out of it, and seeing how the rest of the division is kind of shaking out. The Yankees are losing ground. I mean, the Rays are on their tails right now, but I mean, considering how deep of a hole this is, it's going to take something crazy to get out of this.
Yeah, I think you start with tonight, get to 500, and then see what we can do. If you win tonight, you start inching your way back. I'm looking at the other teams that are ahead of you. I mean, all the wild card teams are kind of winning games, except for, the White Sox, which are half a game up on you. They're 4-6 in the last 10. Every other one has a winning record in their last 10, including the Blue Jays, who are hot right now. They've won their last 4. And the Rays you're playing tonight are 7-3 in their last 10. So it's gonna. I don't have much faith in it, to be honest with you. Like I said, the only thing that matters to me going forward is getting Raffy and Xander under contract. That's the only thing that matters to me. And then, see what they do next year. I saw, who said it? Was it Eck? Eck said on the broadcast, I think this week, like, Xander is your Derek Jeter. He wears 2 for a reason. He's shortstop. He's your team's Derek Jeter, and you're about to let him walk away. It's like, what are you doing? Re-sign Xander, which I don't think they're going to do. Re-sign Devers, which is a total dumb move. It's like, I don't get why they're not going to re-sign these guys. And, I got to make my way to Fenway so I can see my last game with Xander Bogaerts in a Red Sox uniform, because it's like it's coming fast and it's coming quick. And by the way, the guy you're going to let walk out the door is going to end up winning the batting title for the American League.
Right.
So it's just ridiculous. So hopefully Heim comes out, says right after the season we're extending Xander, starting with Xander, then we're re-signing Devers, but I don't feel good about either of those guys being re-signed.
It's a waiting game at this point, man. It's going to be the Mookie summer all over again,
which is miserable and it's going to be worse than Mookie because we have 2 Mookies right now. You got 2 guys that need to be re-signed, and I don't know. It's just so disheartening to think, like, last year, you and I, we were there in person, in the flesh, watching our team 2 wins away from the World Series. And then a year later, we're saying goodbye to Xander Bogaerts, Raffy Devers. We've already said goodbye to a couple other big names that helped us make that run. And, now we're going to be stuck in limbo for the next 4 years.
A debacle, my man, a debacle.
But we're all about being positive on this podcast. There is a silver lining. We got our prayers have been answered. Tristan Cassis gets the call up to the big leagues. It sounds like he's going to be your everyday first baseman for the rest of the season. Talk about the major impact of having Tristan Cassis up with this big league club.
Yeah, I feel like it's been a long time coming. He's been absolutely destroying the baseball since he came back from injury. And I think Heim even said that injury kind of threw off his timeline in terms of when he was going to get called up, because it seemed like he was ready early in the season. Big, strong kid, can play good first base, tall, can cover a lot of ground, has good pop in the bat. Again, I say it's a deep hole they have to come out of. This is a good kind of step in the right direction. Bobby Dolbeck wasn't getting it done. You bring up Tristan Cassis. Whether that's Bobby figures it out in Worcester and can contribute at a different position, I don't know. But these are all moves that I think, had they been made earlier, we could be talking about a different situation with the Red Sox. I know injuries are injuries, but hitting the reset button on the bullpen, bringing up Cassis, getting rid of Bobby, these are all things that could have been done, I think, a little bit earlier, just to kind of get the ball rolling on, mixing this team up, because it wasn't working.
Well, you even talked about the bullpen, the reset. That even helped. I mean, Orth's been doing pretty well up with the big league club. And it's just like we said last week, it's some fresh blood up in the big leagues. It's, you're getting rid of a couple older guys that really weren't doing it. To be honest with you, I think Brazier should be the next one on that list. But it's what we should have done this a month or two ago to kind of hit the reset button. It's right after the All-Star break, hit the reset button, and let's try to see what we can do for the rest of the season. I'm impressed with, the two guys that we made fun. I mean, we weren't on the pod at the time, but I know we were joking around, but the two guys that we brought in at the trade deadline for the Sox, I mean, we were making fun of those two moves, bringing in, Tommy Pham and Reese McGuire. I mean, those guys have been arguably one of your best hitters going. I mean, beside the big dogs, it's like those are your best hitters going for the last month. So I'm kind of impressed with those guys. Tommy Pham, if you're listening, if you ever want to play fantasy football, I'm more than willing to play with you. You seem like you're a man of honor and you take your team seriously. So I applaud you that. And I hope the Sox can get him back in a Red Sox uniform, because I think he is he's the guy that you need he's not going to help this year, but he's a guy that you want in your team for a championship run. He's a good, utility guy, off the bench guy, because he gives you a spark, and he's given this team a little bit of a spark these last, we're on a 5-game winning streak over the last 5 games. So is Reed's too, but so we both kind of don't feel good. What's the best that this team can do going forward? What's the real goal? What should be the goal for this team in the last month of the season?
Make sure you get a look at all your prospects, see what they can offer. Obviously re-sign Devers and Bogarts, but that's an off-season bridge to cross, but see what the young guys can do. Have Story kind of find his way back, Kike find his way back. That way everyone's kind of in a groove heading into next year. So I'd say young guys, make sure everyone has their feet under them, and then just survive. No one has to get hurt anymore. Limit the injuries, and limit the loss of confidence. I think Brian Bello was brought up too early, and now his confidence is kind of shot, but that's just me.
Yeah, I agree with that. We talked about it too when we saw each other for the draft. Connor Wong's kind of making a little bit of a splash down there. It's kind of
hit his first big league home run that night.
Huge home run, and what's his name? Rob Reschneider or something like that.
Yep.
Has a big walk-off win the other night. These young guys, I think it's important to get those guys that get some time, get some reps in, and see what they can do going into the off season, and then that way you feel better about going into next year.
Yeah, that should be the name of the game. Just seeing how much you can salvage from this year to turn it into something good next year.
Who do you think is the real quick, who do you think is a real threat to win this World Series this year? Looking at it, we're coming down to the home stretch. Who do you think is the leading threats to win the World Series?
If you asked me a month or two ago, I would have said the Yankees, but I think the Yankees are starting to hit that slump that we were kind of predicting for the entire season. At some point, the bottom was going to fall out. So if I'm looking at the AL, Houston's been pretty solid all the way through. Seattle's been hot these last couple of weeks. They're the top wild card team right now. So I'm going to say, as far as the World Series and who's a real threat, I'm going to say Houston, and it's always going to be Houston until someone knocks them off that perch.
Right. I agree with that. I think that's a good pick. I think a team that's just going to run away with the World Series, and they should, is the Dodgers in the NL. I think they're going to win the World Series. It's just they've been dominant from the first pitch of the season. Their roster is better than any other roster. They have a, let's put it this way, they have a 19-game lead in the division over the San Diego Padres. 19 games. That's second place.
A Padres team that was supposed to be loaded.
Yeah. It's like 19 games. The last place team, the Colorado Rockies, are 36 games out of first place. That's video game status. Like
Right.
that's ridiculous. So I think they're just going to run away with it. I know Walker Buehler's a big loss for them. It doesn't matter. They have so many people in their organization that's just going to continue to help them win. I'm impressed with what the Braves have done. They won the World Series last year, but when you lose Freddie Freeman, they're a game out of a playoff spot right now, out of the division right now. And for all intents and purposes, they're, closer to the Dodgers in wins like games back wise than anyone in their division. So I don't know. I think I'm impressed with what they've done. The Mets have been kind of a nice surprise. They've been hot this year. The Cards it's kind of nice. I hope the Cardinals. I kind of hope the Cardinals win it this year, because it would be nice to see those guys go out on top, kind of like a Brady thing. Have Albert Pujols win one more World Series before he goes out. He comes home and wins the World Series to retire with his buddies. By the way, I think we're 5 home runs away from
Yeah, he's closing in. I hope he gets there.
700. I hope he gets there too. I think he's gonna do it. He's just, how much we got? We got a month left.
Just about
A month to hit 5 home runs. Come on, Albert, hit 5 more. If I'm the pitcher going in the last series and he needs 3 more, I'm feeding him fastballs right up. Help the guy out a little bit. Yeah, I mean, we're going to be scoreboard watching for the rest of the season because the Sox don't really have a shot. But, keep an eye on Twitter for when they release that story that, we either decided to part ways with Xander or re-sign Xander. We got to go to a game by the end of the season. Get our last fill of Devers and Xander on
our
the same.
last fill. Oh my God.
Gonna be disappointing. Is there any quick updates you want to do?
I mean, college football wise, just FSU, Florida State, and LSU went to a good kind of hectic finish. FSU got a late pick in the game. Looked like it was going to be a pick six. They didn't rule it a pick six. They went down to LSU's goal line, fumbled at the 1. LSU went all the way back down the field, scored with 1 second left. All they needed was the extra point to tie it and go to overtime. Extra point gets blocked, so the Brian Kelly era LSU gets off to a pretty rough start. Syracuse was a 6 or 7 point underdog at home, and they beat the hell out of Louisville, so that was a good game to watch. Notre Dame covered.
Sorry,
Go ahead. No, go
I was
ahead.
gonna say, what was the Old Dominion game? The Old Dominion was
That
an
was
upset, was it?
they beat Virginia Tech, so that was a big
Yeah.
upset. And then Notre Dame covered against Ohio State. They didn't beat Ohio State. I think Jack Moran, friend of the pod, offered Kamish his apartment and rent if Notre Dame had won by 40. They didn't win by 40. They lost, but they did cover. So good teams win, great teams cover. So Notre Dame took that 17.5 and took it home.
So Jack gets to keep his apartment?
He gets to keep the apartment, yes.
Oh, that's nice. The other one, I mean, as a local guy, BC fan, BC had a that's a rough one. That's a rough loss to at home to Rutgers. Not the way you want to start off the season. They were missing I think they were missing their starting quarterback, running back, and tight end, but still were favorites to win by a lot. So and then they had a chance at the end. Questionable play calling at the end. You're losing by 3, I think it was, or 2. You were losing by 2. I think field goal 1 at the end, minute 40. You're 4th and 25 on your own, like 30, 20. And you call a timeout. You have 1 timeout left, and then you punt it. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Defense looked tired at the end of the game. They gave up the last score to have them go up. Rutgers go up. Yeah, not the way you want to start off the season for BC, if I'm being honest. Let's go Eagles, and let's see if we can turn it around.
There we go.
So we're going to get into our final segment of the night, the people's topic.
It's the people's topic, baby! People's topic.
So for people's topic, you can write in our Instagram and Twitter page at Big Red Zone. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you want to talk about. This week, I'm going to start with Dave Griffin just sent a picture of himself. That's a little weird. And then another one.
What do you got on Dave Griffin?
Dave Griffin on traveling tonight. He's going to be in the hotel tonight for the recording of the Big Red Zone Fantasy Football Draft Year 3. Stay tuned for that video coming out on our YouTube page. You'll be able to see that. Excellent plug, Danny Football. Way to get that in there.
Always ready.
He's a vet of this show. So we're gonna be. He's probably gearing up for that. I know he's already complaining about he's picking 9th in the draft. So I'm not gonna be listening to these complaints. So one comes from Brett Chavs. Wide receiver core for the Patriots and how they're gonna mesh together.
I'm disappointed Thornton's hurt.
Yeah, I think that was like a nice, like off the top speed guy that would have been nice to have. I'm excited to see what Devontae Parker does in the system. I think Myers is going to take another step forward. I think hopefully Kendrick Bourne's involved. And then you mix. I mean, they're paying the guy so much money. You might as well see how Nelson Aguilar does. So it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, I think they have a chance to make some noise. And I mean, then we're not even counting Hunter Henry and Javon Smith, who, I think Smith's going to have I hope he has a better year than last year. I hope he's more involved.
We'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Ed says Deshaun Watson. Still a scumbag.
Perfect way to put it.
Suspended.
Not contributing. A lot of money on the table.
A lot of money on the
Baker
table.
Mayfield is a starting quarterback elsewhere, so the Browns just keep going.
He's not only the starting quarterback elsewhere, he's going to face you week 1 and probably torch you week 1. So
did you see his quote?
What was it?
They asked him, I don't know. I'm pretty sure this was off the record. Or this could have been fake. I have no idea. I saw that Baker Mayfield said, I'm going to fuck them up when asked about playing the Browns week 1. So
I would believe that is a true quote. Knowing who you're talking about, I can't wait to see it because I hope the Browns go 0-17.
There we go.
I don't like, even though our guy Nick Chubb is on that team. We are Chubb fans on the podcast.
Plenty of rushing yards, just don't score too many passing touchdowns.
Hope he goes for 2,000 yards this season, Danny.
There we go. I'll take that every day of the week.
I hope they lose every single game. I hope he gets all 2,000 in the first quarter of the game because he's not going to be running much. I hope they're blown out every game. This one comes from Paulie Prue. He says, Pats week 1. Pats win. Let's start it off. They need a big win to start it off.
Got to come out of the gates.
Come out of the gates swinging. All right, Danny Football. Oh. All right, I'm going to read this because this came from last week. Paige wrote in after we started recording. She wrote in for this week too.
Okay.
But she wanted to give a send-off. She said, final season, so sad. Her dad is sad too. So shout out to Paige's dad. Man. She said, guess we'll have to get that tennis match in soon.
There you go.
Paige has been ducking me for a year and a half now from this tennis match. I mean, when are we going to play
Could have got it done this weekend.
When you were there.
Could have got it done on Friday. Yeah, we could have done it Thursday too. Yeah.
Yeah, it was disappointing. So, but thank you, Paige, for your kind words about the last season. I hope you and your dad join in listening.
She only
every week
to this part anyway. So
yeah, she does fast forward through the majority. I think her dad listens to the podcast though.
Good for Papa Willis. Yeah,
Papa Willis is a big fan of the Big Red Zone. So, her people's topic for this week though was Tom Brady's plastic surgery.
He does look a little bit more run down than I remember. So who knows at this point? Who knows?
I think there may be a little trouble in paradise, Daddy.
You think so?
I think Giselle is a little
unhappy. He went back on his decision there.
Yeah, I think he's a little PO'd that he was retired for 2 months and then came back and is playing again. I think that has a lot to do with it. You know what they say? Happy wife, happy life.
There
And
it- no one knows
I
that
think
better than Big Red.
hey, I'm not exactly a rookie in the I'm a 5-year vet of this little of the dating world. So shout out Mrs. Big Red. But I think I think she must be very ticked off at him for playing. You know what I mean? Like, imagine that you make this big life decision, then 2 months later you
True,
don't
very
even
true.
make 2
Think you have
months.
them all to yourself for the rest of your life, and then now.
Yeah, I mean, and also like he had a chance to just take that broadcasting job and get paid millions of
True,
dollars just to
true.
broadcast. It's like I would take that. I mean, as much as I love competing, I mean, you get to
I mean,
broadcast
the man
games.
has 7 Super Bowls at this point. My
What he has
God,
nothing
dude.
else to prove, dude.
Literally,
He's the
so
best he's the greatest of all time. I don't know. I think but I do think what I heard, and I think it's right. I mean, more sources have confirmed it. I think his plan was to go be the president or like the Derek Jeter role of the Dolphins. I think that's what he was going to do this year, and then
you never
everything.
know. After Bill Belichick sent a text to the wrong
Yeah,
Brian.
yeah. Bill could learn how to use an iPhone one time.
I mean, who's to say he didn't do it on purpose to blow everything up?
Maybe Bill's playing chess, not checkers. He's blowing up his teams in the division.
There it
There's
is.
discourse everywhere. Yeah, I don't know. So we'll have to see. I mean, I kind of get what you said. I kind of get where she would be coming from, but he's the best football player of all time. He's got to go out and win. He's got to go on a farewell tour too. I feel like I was a little mad that he didn't get his farewell tour last year. This has to be it.
I think the farewell tour is a little bit played out, but if anyone deserves it, it's him.
I mean, it's like I don't know. It's like saying I don't know. Give me another GOAT.
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan. Give Michael
Yeah,
Jordan.
but then he did the Wizards thing, and that was kind of sad.
He's kind of doing a Michael Jordan right now. Retiring, coming back. He's gonna come out with his own cleat deal. He's gonna ruin it. I think he's got to go out on top, win this year, and then leave.
There you go.
That's it. He should have done that 1 year in
Should have done it. I think he
Tampa.
should have done it after the Rams Super Bowl.
Should have done it after that one, but he should have definitely done it after the Tampa one. I mean, the Tampa one, you
Right.
go to another team, you prove that you can win without Belichick. It's like, he also was like, I think he was the MVP or close to being the MVP that year. Just cash out on top, my friend. Cash out on top. Final one, we're going to go to Joseph_Celia. He writes, gun to your head, could you kick a 35-yard field goal? I don't think I could.
35 yards? That's far.
Are we talking on the 35-yard line, or are we talking
No,
like
35? So that would be what, the 23? Because the end zone's 12, right?
End zone's 12. I don't
I
know.
think the end zone's 12 yards. I mean,
Yeah,
it's still 35 yards. So, gun to my head, I'm probably dying.
Yeah, I think I'm
I
done.
don't think
I'm done, Steve.
I'll give it a good boot, but God knows where that ball's going.
I think that ball is going about a foot off the ground, straight shot off the pole. Now here's a question: Do I get some time to practice and prepare? That's the thing. Like,
That's a good question. Maybe that's a little Big Red Zone video we could do at some point.
kick a field goal. I like it.
See if we can make a 35-yarder.
Yeah, and then if we can't make it, we just go in 5 yards every. We'll end up kicking a field goal at the 1.
There we go. Yeah, clean it up.
That's what we should start. Start at the 5-yard line. See if we can kick a field goal at the 5. Then we'll just move back 5 yards every.
We do that.
Every kick we make. I think it's got to be an experiment. See if we can kick a field.
I don't think I'm hitting a 35-yarder right off the rip, though.
I don't think so. I don't think I could.
We'll have to ask him when he comes on the pod.
Yeah, we'll have to get him on here and see if he can. Usually he says if he can do it. I think we need to see if he can do it from.
I don't know
from
if I'm dying, I want to see if you're doing it.
I don't think I could. See, we're modest on this pod. We're modest on this pod. We don't we're not BSing.
Because if I go for power, that thing's not going straight.
Yeah, if I go into it, see, that's the thing. Like, I feel like I would try to go in. I don't know how to kick a football for a field goal. Like, I feel like I'm going to go about it all wrong. These guys that kick in the
I mean, I'm
league,
going
they
to kick
make
it like a
look
soccer ball, so it's probably not going in the right
Yeah.
direction.
I'm not even good at soccer, so I'm better with my hands. You know what I
I could
mean?
probably drop kick it.
Hey, you could probably drop Doug Flutie it.
I could Doug Flutie it probably.
I could punt. I think I would if I was going to be a football player.
You'd be the tallest punter of all time.
I think I would want to be a punter. Think of it. You get like probably like 5 snaps a game. If you're on a good team, maybe 2 to 3.
Right.
You get all the glory.
All the glory.
Then I'll end up like Pat McAfee on a pod.
I was just about to say,
having
just
another
spin it
podcast.
like Pat McAfee, you're all good to go.
Have to make a few tackles here and then. You know, maybe warm up the arm a little
Just
bit, make a couple
don't
throws.
get trucked.
What?
Just don't get
Don't-
trucked.
Oh yeah, you just don't want to get trucked. That's it. I want to be a kicker. Actually, I think I want to kick field goals. You know what I mean? Kick
That's
a
a
couple
little bit
field
more
goals.
pressure.
It's a little more pressure, but I like the pressure. I think I want to. If I knew how to kick a field goal, I'd want to kick field goals, but I just don't know how to. That's what I'm saying. Like, if game's on the line right now, you say I need to make one right now. I don't think I make it.
We'll work at it.
We'll work at it.
Good question, though.
This is our season goals. You know what I mean? We write every week. We talk about our season goals for this upcoming podcast season. We want to each make a 35-yard field goal now.
There we go. All right.
By the end of the season, by the time we retire, we'll see if we can make a 35-yard field goal. But thank you for writing in, everyone that wrote in. Remember, you can write in our Instagram and Twitter page at Big Red Zone. Make sure you give us a follow on there. You can also follow us on TikTok at Big Red Zone. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. And as always, please tell a friend. I feel like it's Christmas Eve right now in football. We're gearing up. We got fantasy football draft in a couple hours now. We got week 1 a couple days away. I don't know about you, but I'm shaking.
I'm
excited.
shaking.
I'm
We'll
excited.
we'll definitely have more bullets to fire off next week, so we'll be good to go.
It'll be a good episode next week. So, and I think next week it's a special week next week, Danny Football. It's a 3-year anniversary of the Big Red Zone.
3 down. There we go.
Kind of 3-year anniversary, but we're going to be celebrating 3-year anniversary. But thank you for listening, everyone, and have a great week.